Hey yo, I'm thinking maybe, just maybe Fat Joe shouldn't have sued that guy, TA, for defamation. I feel like by doing that, he opened up this can of worms. I don't think I ever heard TA. Not like I said, I didn't watch all of his content, but I never seen him say in the minimal amount of content that I've seen. I never seen him allude to going in this direction of a lawsuit or something like that. I don't know, but then again, admittedly, I wasn't paying enough attention. Maybe he was because he was always talking about how he wrote this and he wrote that and all of that, and maybe that's a clear indication that he had money on his mind. But I don't know. I'm not qualified to go into details on that, but I know Fat Joe hitting him with a defamation suit. It definitely it kind of escalated the situation. Like if you TA and you using the internet, right? You've been on the internet doing what you've been doing for as long as I've been seeing him. Why not start out with that? He probably didn't really see this as a real option. You know what I mean? This is like the lawsuits, and these lawsuits is like the new Jordans right now. They, a new one dropping every month or whatever. It's the new thing. Everybody wants them, right? But before that, people was fighting with the internet. Just I'm gonna expose you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make you feel what I didn't never really see no clear path or no clear plan or path to the money that they were owed, right? F it, I'm gonna get it off your name from YouTube, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I guess that was the strategy, and you gonna be embarrassed because of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get it in emotional blood. But when you hit the man with a defamation suit, okay, now you kind of force him to talk to a lawyer, right? Like you kind of force his hand. Like he might not have been talking about getting lawyers advice. You kind of force his hand. I was like, oh, all right. And then he finds himself a lawyer. He might not have funding for, he might not already have a lawyer. Now he got to find a lawyer, and he ain't got bread like that. It would make sense to reason or sense to assume that he ain't got bread like that. He's alleging you ain't paying him this, that, and the third, and all of that. So he don't, y'all know what I'm getting at, right? So now he got to find a lawyer who will take a case. He ain't got no money, and he come across, I don't remember the dude's name, but one of these lawyers that the culture, as I know it, has already deemed as shady. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's just like an ambulance chasing ass lawyer of a person. Has a reputation for slapping inflammatory charges or cases on people, not charges, but suits on people, and they fold because in this day and era, the accusation is almost as damning as the conviction. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong, the accusation can harm you and stain you just as bad and just as permanently. So he ends up with one of these guys. All right, that's what I do. Bring that case over here. And now the Pandora's box that seems to have been opened is crazy. It's wild, B. And the first thing when I first heard about this case, the thing that was jarring, the thing that, that caught a nigga by surprise, that had a nigga bugging, was the minors, the A minor PDF file accusations, right? Like, those was just hard to, like, come on. Like, if whatever you believed already about Fat Joe, whether good or bad, you didn't think that. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you knew something we don't know, right? But all that other stuff, all of the gangster shit they was talking, that all seemed very plausible. And you know why? You know why? Because Fat Joe always made it a priority to let us know that he was still with the shits. No matter how far he ascended, no matter how far he blew, how rich he got, how far he crossed over, I always said, to certain people, being tough mean too much. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it don't mean nothing, like letting people know that you're not the one to be played with. I'm not saying that there's no value in that, because there is, right? But when it means too much to you, when you're willing to take it too far, like when all of that FBA debacle was going on with him, it's like, yo, and I really sincerely believe that Fat Joe didn't mean what he said the way our culture took it. You know what I'm saying? I believe that sincerely, right? But I also said he should, you know what I'm saying, he should apologize, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, let the, you know, but the reason he, you know, I personally had information from people who know people that said he wanted to apologize. He just didn't want to feel like he was being bullied into it, right? And I came up with all of these catchy phrases like being too tough to be taught, or too hard to be humble, or, you know what I'm saying, too street to be smart. You know what I'm saying? Too street to be schooled, or whatever. I used all of those catchphrases when I was vlogging on that topic, right? Because we know him being G'd up is important to him. You understand? He wears that. No, I don't care if he's wearing pink. You know, if they could have him in a pink outfit, you understand? Pink glasses. You've seen the footage going around. He's still gonna he's still gonna wear his tough. And in this moment, that makes all of this stuff believable. Respectfully, it does. You know, hearing the stuff that this phone calls, where they get phone calls, how these phone calls, this is just it's a lawsuit. This ain't a criminal suit. How all of these phone calls, transcribed phone calls, is popping up? Joke, no joke, reading. I feel like I'm playing catch up, but what is this, B? All of these niggas is phone calls of these dudes plotting to do TA harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, dudes is online reading the conversations word for word. You know, between dudes that ran with Fat Joe, you know, that talking about it's ugly. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to elaborate on all of that. It's nasty enough. You understand what I'm saying? You can find that out there. I'm just saying. There's also, I don't know if it's on a, I guess it's a phone transcribed phone calls. Talk about what Fat Joe was plotting the old 50 Cent. You understand? If applicable. Like, real talk, like, and so people say a lot of things about 50. They call him foul, this, that, and the third, and all of that. But 50 shows he has certain qualities that I rock with all the time. Like, they literally laid out incidents with Fat Joe. Like, they said he had the bag on 50, on, you know, 50. He had money on 50 head. Pause. He was somewhere. He lived in Miami. Heard that 50 Cent was somewhere. He sent niggas to go get him. 50 Cent had like Navy SEAL type security, so the dudes kind of fell back. You know, the hitters. All of this, right? All of this stuff that is very plausible. You done heard Tony Yayo say in interviews like, yo, that Fat Joe drama was the worst drama we had, blah, 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 blah. Wild Puerto Rican niggas from over here, blah, blah, blah. We already heard Yayo say things like that. But they squashed the beef. You understand? Whatever their beef was, they squashed it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the spark of it was, they got it. They squashed it. And if it's squashed, it's squashed. It's like, I don't care what you tell me he did while we was beefing. He was supposed to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the way 50 seemed to be carrying it. And I think that's dope. But I still think this is a horrible situation. And, you know, while I stand, you know, like I said, first vlog, I said this, that didn't want to believe all of that A minor PDF activities. You understand? The second video I said, I see a lane where that has existed in our culture. Because I didn't think it was a lane for that in certain type of niggas. But then, upon further review, I'm like, that does exist in another certain kind of nigga that ain't that far from our culture. Or to put it bluntly, is a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? But this other part of the situation, all that gangster shit, like, I mean, you know, like, that's just how it go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put nothing on it. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to say that because he plays that image, that's who he is, or because he portrays that image, you know, forward-facing gangster. I'm not saying that that's who he is. I'm just saying it makes it a whole lot harder to disprove these claims. That's all I'm saying. And I mean, yikes. It's messy. And I don't like it. But you know, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you're trying to be a taxpaying citizen of the nation, give me a super thanks or Cash App. We actually prefer the Cash App, but y'all do y'all. Excuse me. Cash App tag gonna be in the description along with the Bandcamp link, which is there for those of you who would rather hear me rapping than hearing me yapping. You know what I mean? All the mixtapes is there, from Nonviolent Rocco, which is the newest one, all the way back to Shell Shock. And yeah, go there and binge. You know, just have a ball. I'm offering subscriptions. Go there, see what's there. You know what I'm saying? Here on YouTube, stuff that wasn't meant for nobody to see, you can see. You know what I'm saying? I'm a go in there and straighten up and arrange stuff, but if you the first one there, get busy. You know what I'm saying? You go in there and type first, or however it works in there. I'm still figuring it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, when you writing on the walls in here, aka leaving comments in the nation, you leave us you know, do your spell checks. Not your autocorrects. Autocorrects are how you spell in helter skelter, and the latter is wrong. It's helter skelter. A and a H at the end of those words. No ERs. It's monster, not monster. It's an A at the end of monster, not ER. And for the love of all things decent, it's BCC, not BBC. Pause protesters, get your ass out of here. The rest of y'all, welcome to the nation. I am your host, your president, your tour guide, Mr. Monster Man Rocco. I'm the landlord, the owner, tenant, the janitor. I'm out to the damn floor. Let's go.